Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my precious pack, and welcome back to World of Tanks, and I have a T55A triple special feature, whatever you want to call it, for you today. Let's kick it off on Cliff, actually, in a two-tier spread. Well, Tier 9 and Tier 8. So, here I am in the T55A. It's going to be today's featured tank. This was my first match back driving the tank after not having touched it since the last video, actually, where I featured it. And the three matches I have, two of which are high damage games, one of which is an average damage game, but all of which could easily have turned out completely differently had I played differently, had I thought differently, had I moved to someplace else, had I attacked from a different location, things like that. But I also have to say that this was also one of the matches where I got lucky and I got to meet one of the new frontline reward tanks, and that was the Object 7772. The tank that I'm going to be striving to unlock along with the Shard during the front lines and the Steel Hunter game mode. Now, unlike the front lines, I actually love the Steel Hunters game mode because while I was playing it, well, it was fairly fast-paced. Whenever I was playing solo and not in a platoon with a friend, well, I have to admit I was having a blast, and I actually want to do the same thing once again. So for now, what I'm doing is I'm biding my time, and I'm going to tackle the front lines as they come out. And in June, I'll be picking up either the Object 7772, so I can use it to start completing my Soviet or Russian missions, whichever one you want to see them as for my Chimera. Then I'll be probably unlocking the Shah Future 4 later after that. Now, what you just witnessed was poor accuracy. Now that I'm done with that subject, you just witnessed poor accuracy on my part. Literally, me not paying attention where I should have been aiming. Because that Senlek should have been the easiest target for me to damage and penetrate their vehicle. Yeah, that didn't happen. However, this Object 7772, this is looking like a juicy target, so let's introduce the new Tier 9 to the old Tier 9. Oh, you got heat loaded. Okay, well, I'll blow your track off then, because I can reload faster than you, because I know how quickly you can reload even with Bond equipment, and I'll look for a shot into the side of your tank. Alright, we got an ST1 to tackle now. Let's see how this goes. Bounce, because I don't know how to aim. I should have gone up a little bit further, broken the track like that, and then started aiming for the lower plate, because you can punch through the lower plate extremely easily, as you're seeing now. And one more shot, come on. Yeah. Now what I want to do is I want to swing back around and turn around. I want to go back because I want to cross through the middle of the map. Because one thing I know that the rest of the team doesn't is that they have an STRV 103 at the back, because remember, they bounced off of me twice. So I know exactly where they're sitting at because it's where most tank destroyers go. So I'm going to take the safe approach because it looks like they only have one tank actually blocking it now, and we're going to cross over. And it looks like the team is winning fairly easily. Well, we're only up 2 tanks, but that's still something good. I mean, this T54 should be able to secure this area, shouldn't we? Well, I don't want to sit out in the open because they still have artillery. And if I'm detected at the moment, well, that's not going to bode well for me. And it looks like the team is just steamrolling the enemies right now, which is exactly what I want. Because if we can keep up this kind of momentum, we can win. However, spoiler, we don't win. In fact, it all starts to go wrong fairly quickly. Let's go ahead and let's start breaking it down as it happens. I push out through the open here because I want to get eyes on the STRV regardless of the amount of health I'm about to lose. STRV, it hits me once. SU-130 throws a premium round in the side of my tank. Alright, I still got eyes on the STRV. I'm below their gun now. I'm safe. So what can I do from here against the STRV? Well, I can keep an eye on them. I can make sure they stay lit up for the artillery. All I have to do is just wait here. Or they can back out in front of me, I can break their track, and I can keep them tracked until their tank is out of commission. Because, interesting gameplay. I'm so sorry, STRV, I mean, you didn't deserve that. Now, I started to go this way because I wanted to try and find their Scorpion G or get eyes on the Jagdtiger. Neither of which happened from this angle, so let's go ahead and let's swing around to the other side because we know that their SU-130PM is up in their spawn. So let's see if I can find that as the SU-130PM, because that'll be a juicy target. Oh yes, they're even in the open. Not even gonna lie, that's literally some easy damage. And quite a good roll there, 377 when the rounds are averaged out at what, 320? Yeah, 320. Hello there, little SU. I have no idea what you're doing, but it's costing you large chunks of your health. And the artillery almost nails them. And RNG's just favoring me, apparently. Hey, Hesh rounds, gotta love them. Trying to find the shot, can't find the shot, so time to back away. Now, in the time frame that I was doing all of that, we lost the Chinese tank destroyer, the Conqueror, and the Lerva that were behind us. So now we have a one-shot T55, one-shot T54, a two-shot T55A, and a Centurion 1 that this entire time I haven't mentioned yet is stock. I don't know if they have the 17-pound gun or the 20-pound gun, but the turret that they were using is stock. And we found the Scorpion G. They're in the open. Up here for some reason. But you know what? That works out in our favor because the T-54 swung around behind them. Also, don't mind me yawning because it's a bit late for when I would typically be recording a World of Tanks video, especially at this length, because as you're going to find out, or as you already did from clicking on the video, it's nearly 30 minutes long for these 3 matches that were played. And there's that Centurion 7-1, and they get a penetration. Well, that sucked. Now, the reason I put my gunner back in there instead of the commander is because my commander doesn't have the jack of all trades. I still want the accuracy for the most part, because I think that the T-54 and the Centurion 1 that just rolled up in front of me, why did they roll? I thought they were at the bottom of the map. The reason I came over here was so that they could keep eyes on down there and potentially get their SU-130PM in a crossfire so we could actually hold their team there. So that just went out the window. However, this is where I make a poor mistake and it leads to the defeat here. So this one is on me. I go to take position back down at the southern end of the map again. That was the incorrect move, as I find out later, because their Jagdtiger is there now. Had I climbed the hill, I would have been able to fire down on the Jagdtiger, been safe from the SU-130PM, because I could have used the opposite side of the hill, and forced the Jagdtiger to move back and rethink their approach. Instead, I completely devoted myself to this one attack vector, so I more or less have no choices now because I've devoted myself to it. So, poor play on my part because it didn't really get anywhere, and they have 2 one-shot tanks now. 2 of their vehicles are one-shots. The Centurion 7-1 and the SU-130PM are both one-shots. And the Jagdtiger has enough health that it should be a threat, so need to pay attention to where it goes so I can get some shots into it, because I need to bring that one down. But that's not what happens, as you're going to find out. Come on, Jagdtiger, there we go. You're going through the open, I can track you from this range. Now, had we gotten lucky, we could have actually hoped that the artillery would have struck them there and actually kept them there, so after they fixed the track, I still would have been able to focus fire on them. And in that exact situation, we could have won because their most dangerous vehicle, and the vehicle that actually destroys me and the Centurion, would have been out of the fight. However, I make a mistake here. Did you see what my mistake was? I turned in too far, because I pushed the spacebar instead of just tapping the A key and then the S key and rolling out. So I turned too far, and well, you saw the result. I got knocked out of the fight. And this Centurion, as you can see, like I said, they're basically stock because that turret is stock. And Yag Tiger knocks them out, so now it's up to the artillery. Come on, little artillery, you can do it. Or RNG doesn't favor you and allows you to miss. That happens too. Either way, the match is basically over. It's like a common trend. I yawn in every single video at this point. If I'm not yawning or tired, you know something's wrong. Okay, Lore's deciding to come down to the southern end of the map. I don't know why, but I would have actually went back to the base as my artillery. I would have sat in A1 in one of the bushes, because if they're going to do the whole thing of no cap, kill all, I would have literally made them come to me in the bush so I could at least take one of them out. Because, I mean, that's like the bare minimum I want in my artillery, is to at least take one enemy out before I go. Ugh. Okay, so what was that about? Anybody else notice the fact that the Lore just fired? Because we watched the shot soar across the sky. And then we watched them get destroyed. Ah, I'm too tired to even speak my own language. But that was the only defeat. Well, the first defeat. There's two of them. Only won one match. It's not this match. But here we are on Lakeville now. And this is going to be yet another fairly quick-paced match once it actually starts to play out. Once again, T55A rolling around in the dragon camo. Well, not the camo, the... brain fart. Can't even remember what it is. It's under the customizations. It's under the... It's a style. There we go. Had to do all of that just to remember what it was. The joys of recording when tired. Should I be allowed to record when I'm tired? You bet I should, because it's amusing. Now, one of two things just happened there while I was doing that you may not have noticed. We just got up here and we weren't spotted, so that indicates to me that none of their tank destroyers were back here immediately. So I could have kept pushing right here and most likely not been seen until it's already in their base. However, we were asked to hold the valley while everyone else fights in the city and takes it on. So, while they're doing that and taking on the city, we just get to sit around here doing this. I'm not even playing the game live now and I'm bored just watching it. Can an enemy tank just pop up so we can get into a firefight? I want some action. Seriously, anybody? Anybody? I'll take even a random light tank, or a medium tank, or a random heavy. I'll take anything that'll just randomly pop up. Okay, I accept that, and you know what? They were out in the open, and I didn't see them until they started to move. They were probably literally looking right at the bush I was sitting in, up until they started to turn there. Well, not quite turn, because if they were just turning, I wouldn't have seen them. They started to move forwards or backwards, don't know which it was first, but they got spotted because of it. But now comes the question. The team's up for tank destruction, so should we push now, because we should theoretically have an advantage? Oh, never mind. Still a 3-tank advantage. Question is, should we push? Or the better question is, when should we push? I'm anxious to go because I want to get some damage done while there's still damage to be done. So, let's account for what's immediately down there that I can get into a fight with upon approach. A Scorpion G, an STRV, and a standard B that's all that we know of. They still have a lot of unspotted tanks as well, so... Well, the STRV and the Scorpion G are no longer a threat, so let's advance because of where they're at. I want to get into a certain location in their base before they actually stop me. So, T55A, away! One thing I do love about the tank is the look. And the fact it bounces so much. And one thing I haven't commented on is the giant black block that is on the side of the screen. And you know why? Because chat sucks at times, and I just decided to censor the entire video's chat, because why not? Alright, there's a Ferdinand and a Borovsk back here. So there was a lot more back here than I thought, but Borovsk is looking the wrong way. And the Ferdinand is backing away. And I fluffed that shot, and I threw that one high, so... yeah. And all of a sudden they're winning in the city, so... oh well to that fight being a victory. What else can we do? Well, I need to get eyes on the standard B so I can start taking them out, because they're a threat immediately that I'm pretty sure I'd be able to knock out by tracking. If I could track them. Which tank's gonna push me first? Because I am curious to know. Ferdinand it is. Okay, never mind. It's the Borovsk and the Ferdinand. And I'm a Muppet. First off, never engage the superstructure with 225 or less millimeters of penetration. Instead, aim for the front of the tank, as I will demonstrate shortly. Because it's got some very squishy cheeks on the front. And with anything with 220 plus millimeters of pen, you can go through them fairly reliably. And there's the standard B I needed to find. However, I wasn't the one that saw them, somebody else did. Still, let me know where they were at. Ferdinand is now pushing against where I'm at. The only ally I had over here is gone, so now I'm in an unknown number of tanks versus one situation. Borovsk, off over here, this is the one I want to engage. Alright. You're a one-shot. Scorpion G pushing, and lucky bounce. Well, track absorbed it. And overly aggressive Ferdinand. Okay. So now, they got two one-shot tanks, Scorpion G and the Borovsk. Scorpion G's out. Ferdinand bounced. Borovsk scores one hit, but can't fight back, and I simply back away from the Ferdinand. Borovsk scores another good hit, and they're reloading now as far as I'm aware. So I should be able to push the Ferdinand then. I'm still in the fight though, thankfully, which is a surprise because by now I should have been knocked out. Ferdinand tries to get a little bit aggressive there, winds up being smacked on the belly, so backs away. Borovsk is looking to flank, and I'm looking to throw another round into the Ferdinand. And this is where you should shoot. Right there on the cheek. It is extremely squishy, as you can see from the angle. It was angled away from me because of how they were parked, but I could still see through it. Second, you saw the bar at the top of the front of the chassis. You can shoot through that reliably as well if you have 120 millimeters plus of pen. It's just a matter of getting the right angle on them. And this is where my good luck ends and the match closes for me. And now I get to sit around and talk in chat. Now, what did I say in chat? Well, I basically tried to defend somebody else, even though I don't think they needed to be defended. Someone was talking about the standard B being a stat pattern, and all I have to say is this. If the standard B is a stat pattern, then so am I, because I literally just went rolling through a bunch of tier 8s. They couldn't really fight back. and literally had a good game because of it. Now, one thing that I'm not showing at the end of the match is the end screens, because I'm going to do a couple of... Well, I'm actually probably not going to do anything for this video because of how long it's taken so far. But at the moment, what I'm thinking is this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the end game stats before it actually happens, because it's most likely not going to be included. So, for this match with this loss, I actually wound up as the top player on the team with 1,200 and something experience earned as base value. All because I rushed in and started getting into fights with a bunch of tier 8s. That doesn't make sense to me because, 1, they're tier 8s, so kind of overpowered against them. 2, it was a Borosk. Come on, guys. There's nothing overpowered about a Borosk that I'm aware of. Well, aside from the fact that it's a little double tap tank. You appear out of nowhere, you fire twice, and you disappear again. And it's also up to this STRV to win the match, so let's see how this plays out for this dude. Or lady. Well, you're off to a bad start. And you're losing all your health. Oh yeah, this poor STRV, they're getting hammered. Okay, so you went into the city at full health, and you're leaving the city as a one-shot now. So, sucks to be you, dude, because you gotta fight 2 tanks now that are both gonna be at least one-shot. So if they rush you at the same time with high explosive, your chances of survival are very low. And they're just gonna let you go. Okay. What would I do if I was in the standard B's position right now? 1, I would have pushed to the south, and I would have tried to take the location where the STRV is heading to right now. I would have done so while they were in the city, while I didn't have a line of fire to where I could have supported. So I could outflank, and I would already be in a position of power, because the STRV would have come down here due to the direction they were running in, and it would have just been a matter of catching them out in the open. Alternatively, I would have gone to the north, cut across the upper portion of the map, and gone and joined the other tank in the city. Now, based on the fact that the standard B isn't down here, they went with the northern approach, and they're going into the city. That means we're going to see a second person in the cap circle anytime now, because the best way to draw the STRV in is for both tanks to be in the cap circle, which is exactly what they do. Now, this is one thing I would have done that the STRV doesn't here. I would have used the little path along the side of the mountain to approach, and I would have used it to try and spot the enemy out. Because if I could spot even just one of them out in the open out of place, that means that's one less to worry about when you go in. And what we know is the 430 was a one-shot, and the standard B was possibly a one-shot. Standard B's got 24% health. Okay, they're not a one-shot. That object 430, they are, though. And this is how the match ends. GG. On to the next one? Yeah, on to the next one. Welcome to Runeberg with the T55A this time. Now, the reason this one was included was because, again, it's a high damage game. Not insanely high like some other people I've seen in their T55As, but it's good enough for me. Because it completes a couple of my Chimera missions. Well, it completes the 2. It allows me to do the damage, the, 3,000 damage to enemy medium or heavy tanks, and destroy 3 enemy vehicles. So, how exactly does that play out this time around? Well, we're in a tier 8 to 10 spread, and I happen to be tier 9, so I'm in the comfortable zone for being the tier 9 tank. So what can I do in this situation? Well, as long as no one pays attention to me, I basically have free reign to sit over here, lounge around, and do whatever I want. Because no one's paying attention to what's going on to this specific location on the map. Do I want to advance? Do I want to wait? Well, I note they have an object 705 in the middle. And turn your turret. Thank you. You're going to hear that a lot. One, because each time they do that, I'm getting free damage. Two, that's actually how I complete the op. Well, the campaign mission. Is because they keep looking away. And every time they look away from the fight, away from me specifically, I get to deal damage to them. That little bit of damage ticks up each time. So, let's complete a mission, shall we? I do need eyes on that object 705 again, though. And I got the side of the turret again. Beautiful accuracy of the T55A allows me to do that. And it also allows me to shoot their lower plate from here. Because balance, why not? Now that was a poor shot on my part because I was aiming up at the upper portion of the side of their chassis, which is basically an auto ricochet. However, I make it up for a nice shot into the side of the turret when they look away. And AE Phase 1, not really much of a threat because they're looking the other way. So I can go in and I can go into one of my favorite places on Runeberg when you have the southern spawn, and that is this location right here. And from here you can start ripping into the field and start helping your team dig out. And if there's any one suggestion I would make to Runeberg, it's that they repeat this type of setup on the southern side so that they have a more or less dug-in location as well to help clear out the field. Ah, accuracy, come on, don't fail me now. And all of a sudden I see a leopard prototype. And you know what? We're gonna have some fun and rack up a little more damage. Why don't we? Ah, yes. Don't mind me as I just yawn. So, that leopard prototype, they had a bad game, but that was my first major horrible shot that I actually fluffed because I threw it into the destroyed wall right in front of me. I mean, that was worse than shooting the object 705 on the side. But still managed to secure the local destruction on the leopard prototype. Now I just need to shoot an enemy heavy or medium tank one more time, so... Okay, well, there's an enemy heavy tank. Smacked me a good one. But I still get to advance and I still get to fight. And they're not looking at me now. If I can land this hit, I'll be done with the mission. Mission complete. Okay. Now if I can score one more vehicle oh, hey, well, look at that. Isn't that just lucky? They happen to be rushing out into the open when I needed one more vehicle destruction, so completed with honors at that. So, now they have a standard B over here and a Waffenträger off Panzerfeeder out in the field somewhere. And I casually bounce off of the standard B, who is throwing premium rounds like the other people. Now, right here, what I was doing was I was trying to block his line of fire with my barrel because I was literally thinking I could just absorb the round, but this is basically how the match ends because I don't get any more damage done because the Skoda finds the Waffenträger and, well, the rest is history, just like that Skoda. So, hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Be safe out there, my pack. Happy hunting, and as always, I'll see you in the next video.